developments coming in now that the US president has signed an executive order. Let's take a look at India-US pharma trade and the impact these tariffs will have on India's exports. So I'll be going over to the big wall over there and I'll be explaining to you these impacts, what we're talking about. And when we're talking about India-US pharma trade, what exactly does that mean? And especially when we're talking about financial year 2024, 2025, we know right now for the fact that Sun Pharma has been hit the most. It's the top loser right now. But let's take a look at India-US pharma trade in financial year 2024, 2025. At $8.72 billion, India's exports to United States at $9.14 billion total bilateral trade and $0.42 billion India's imports from Japan. So that's when we're talking about the pharma trade. That's the breakdown that we are giving to you. Let's take a further look at what exactly these details are. India's share in US market. India accounts for 27% of US pharma exports by value. $10.4 billion or $56 billion total in 2023 and 30% by volume, which is 180 million kgs. So that's the breakdown that we are giving to you in terms of the India's share in US market. And US market dependence, India supplies 40% of US generic drug demand with 6,316 US FDA approved Indian facilities as of April 2023. So India supplies 40% of US generic drugs. And when we're talking about effect on trade after 100% tariffs, number one, US drug prices surge. 100% tariffs on branded, patented pharma exports could double cost, worsening shortages and hitting American patients reliant on affordable generics. So that's the effect that it will have. US drug prices could surge. So this will actually have an impact on the US market instead. Indian export revenue will be hit. That's one of the things that it could be a probable effect. Is $3.7 billion plus US bound shipments in H1 2025 at risk, slashing sales for firms like Sun Pharma and Dr. Reddy's, eroding India's 10 billion plus annual surplus. So it might have an impact, but that's something that we are looking out. How much of an impact will it have? And thirdly, supply chain disruptions, potential Medicare instability if Indian generics 40% of US demand face scrutiny, forcing rerouting to markets like Australia or Europe. So the supply chain could, one of the impacts that could be is the supply chain could be disrupted. Fourthly, the onshoring push, exemption for US plant constructions, incentives Indian firms to invest billions and stateside, creating jobs but raising cost and timeline. So that's another thing that could be the impact. The onshoring push, that will be the impact of the trade after 100% tariffs. Fifth, trade deal leverage and sparks bilateral talks. India may counter with concessions on US goods like whiskey, aiming to avert broader pharma fallout. So those are the details.